Boom, look at that seething mass of wildlife. Look at the colors. So great. Man, they're huge. Those are big. You can have that as an appetizer.
So we're going to live vicariously through Chris Ernst right here, entomologist. Looking for the bugs on BC's Central Coast. How many different types of bugs are there on our Central Coast?
Well, actually, that's a really interesting question. We're not entirely sure. We don't have a final count yet. In our surveys that we did over the last 3 years, we found about 1,000 different species of invertebrates. So insects, spiders, snails, slugs, millipedes, centipedes, all that kind of stuff. There's almost undoubtedly many hundreds more that we just haven't come across yet.
And you've brought some of the best for a little show and tell this morning.
I've brought a few.
Where do we want to start? How about this one?
Sure, yeah. Now, this is a critter that may be familiar to people out here in British Columbia. This is a commonly encountered guy in the forest. This is a Pacific banana slug. This is the largest slug in Canada and the second largest slug in the entire world. They come in a bunch of different colors. You can see some of them are entirely pale yellow, others are entirely black, and the rest of them tend to be, you know, yellow with brown spots, sort of like an overripe banana. They're covered in this really thick, sticky mucus. That's really important, helps them glide around, helps keep them dry, or keep them from drying out, and it also is a really good deterrent for predators. If you were a predator and you popped one of these in your mouth, you would be met with a huge mouthful of slime, and your tongue would go entirely numb, and you'd probably spit it out immediately. So, very good defense mechanism.
I'll trust your word on that.
Yeah.
Interesting finding right there. Now, these next ones are so tiny. We have some photos that'll give us a close-up, and then we'll talk about the characteristics. So let's bring up the full frame of this. What do we have here?
This is a common rough woodlouse, and if you've done any gardening, you might have seen these or something similar to them in the last couple of weeks. Now that it's warmed up, this little guy is a land-dwelling crustacean, so it's very closely related to things like shrimp and crabs. And the interesting thing about these, we found these all over the coast, and sometimes in huge numbers, thousands and thousands of them getting pulled out of traps. What's interesting, and this is a non-native species, so it's actually from Europe originally, and so, you know, the question of how they might have gotten out to these islands is really interesting. They don't fly at all, and so we think maybe they got there by floating on logs. They could have hitchhiked with human travelers, maybe recently, or maybe in the last, you know, in the last hundreds of years, maybe with coastal First Nations people. Yeah. So yeah, an interesting little critter to keep an eye on. We're not sure how they're affecting ecosystems out on the coast.
Okay, listen, I think we have time for one more before we talk about the Film Fest coming up.
Yeah, but, let's have a look then at this this big guy here. This is called a night crawling tiger beetle. So like the name suggests, it's a ferocious predator, a large beetle that's found hunts around at night, and it's got, let's see if it'll cooperate for me here. It's a big guy. It's got these huge mandibles, which you might have seen in the photograph. They are very, very strong, muscular head and muscular mandibles. Oh, and wow. I'm going to see if I can get him to do a little feat of strength here. He's going to cooperate for me. No, I don't think so. But these little guys are strong enough to deliver a very painful pinch. So don't mess with them. Be nice to them. They'll be nice with you. But very, very strong animal. Yeah.
You know, when I was watching the documentary that's going to be featured this Saturday, the Elements Film Festival, by the way, elementsfilmfest.org is the website. I thought you were completely fearless, but I could relate to the fact you're afraid of spiders too. Yeah.
This seems to be a common affliction among entomologists. There's something about insects only have 6 legs, spiders all have 8, and there's something about that extra pair of legs that just makes us very uncomfortable. It just makes them a little creepy. I have been working on it though, and I'm much more okay about handling them now. So. Okay, well you can watch the documentary, Thousands of Bugs, 100 Islands, One Happy Entomologist. That is Chris Ernst. Thanks so much for coming by. Thanks for having me.
I think we had an escapee over the side here.
Yeah, I'll wrangle him later here.
Okay.
He's gone down.
We're going to take care of that. Greg Harper, back over to you with an update on what's happening in White Rock.